Welcome back to Those Vegan Chefs. I'm Stefan, and this channel is dedicated to making you a better vegan cook. Today I'm taking a classic Mexican recipe and giving it a vegan twist, of course. I'm going to teach you how to make vegan birria. That's right. This vegan birria takes a unique and creative approach by using tofu paired with spices and peppers that make birria so special. That's right, I'm going to guide you through the step-by-step process, transforming tofu into a delectable vegan birria. So let's get cooking. First thing we have to do is remove the stems and the seeds from the guajillo peppers and the pasilla peppers. So I'm basically just gonna tear the stem out. We're gonna use our scissors, cut the pepper open. It's okay if we don't get all the seeds, it's not the end of the world. I also pull out some of the pepper membrane. I'm gonna do a rough chop, rough slice on our onion. It's not super important because we're gonna lightly roast it and puree it. Our onion is complete. We're gonna cut our tomatoes in half. I have 5 garlic cloves. We're gonna heat our pan, medium heat, medium high heat. We're gonna add a generous amount of olive oil, about 1/4 cup. We're gonna let the oil get fairly hot. Add my beautiful peppers. And we're literally, this is something I've learned recently, we're gonna really toast our peppers. And at first, you're gonna think, wow, we're going too far in our toasting, but we're not. You can see the colors changing, it's smelling. Wow, how do I describe it? It's almost like a little bit of smoky caramel with a touch of like heat. We're starting to get a little smoke coming off the oil. You could see how dark they are. They're really, really putting off a beautiful aroma right now. It's so earthy. We're gonna pull these guys out. This oil is really flavored with the peppers at this point. And go our onion, our garlic. We're gonna continue to cook on medium-high heat. It's okay if we get some caramelization, maybe even a little bit of charring as well. There we go, we're getting a little bit of color. The onions are sweating down, frying almost. The garlic's even getting a little bit of color. I'm gonna place my tomato skin side down. We're gonna let the tomatoes kind of fry a little bit. We're gonna add our peppers back in. We're gonna add a teaspoon of cumin, 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, teaspoon of Mexican oregano, a couple avocado leaves, and 3 whole cloves. Stir to mix, not that big of a deal. We're gonna add 3/4 cup of water, 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Might need to add just a little bit more water. We're gonna let this cook for about 10 minutes covered. Ooh, look at that. The peppers are nice and tender. The tomatoes are releasing their liquid. Everything's kind of happening. This is a perfect point to go ahead and puree. We're back from pureeing. Color's beautiful. Next we have to adjust our salt. So we're gonna start with like 1/2 teaspoon. We're gonna see where that lands us. Let's give it a taste, see what's going on. I think it's time to get the tofu going. I've been pressing the tofu for like an hour. I really want to drive all of that water out of the tofu. We're gonna pop out the tofu. Basically we're gonna cut it into thirds. Very straightforward. You could actually see how much it's compressed. It's great, not much water is coming out of it. We're gonna place the tofu right into our liquid. There's obviously enough room if you wanted to cook more tofu. This is 1 package. Time to cover it. And I'm gonna say we're gonna flip the tofu every 10 minutes to make sure we're cooking it kind of evenly on all sides. So 30 to 40 minutes. All right, let's give the tofu its first rotation. Just gonna give it a quarter turn. There we go. Tofu's been cooking for 35 minutes. Gonna remove the tofu because it is a little tender when it is hot like this. Now we're gonna ladle sauce right on top. Tofu's covered. It's perfect amount. We're just gonna give it a little shake. We're gonna let this cool down and we're gonna pop it in the fridge. We're back from the refrigerator. It's been in for 24 hours. I think if I could just leave it in there for like 3 days, I would. We are going to preheat the oven to 450 degrees. We're gonna put a thin layer of olive oil on our baking sheet, parchment paper, and we're gonna slice our tofu lengthwise. We're gonna slice them pretty, not super thick, but medium thick. Nice, generous coating. All right, we're ready to roast. Tofu's in the oven. While it's roasting, we're gonna make a little compound butter. We have softened vegan butter. We're gonna take just a couple teaspoons of the sauce. Basically gonna mix these two together. And this is what we're gonna spread on our bread before we put it in the pan. Once the sauce is mixed in with the butter, just pop it back in the fridge so it could set up a little bit. The tofu's firmed up a little bit. It's gonna deliver a really nice texture and bite to the sandwich. All right, we have our pan. It's on medium heat, maybe just a touch under medium. We're gonna spread our vegan butter. We're gonna be pretty generous with this coating. We're gonna place it in our pan. We're gonna cook the bread until it's extremely crispy. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put a generous amount of vegan mozzarella on the bread. We're gonna cover it so that the bread continues to crisp on the bottom, but the cheese is gonna start melting on the top. It's smelling nice and toasty. Woo! So we're gonna actually pull it out of the pan. So we're gonna put down just a little bit of sauce on that melted vegan mozzarella. And we're gonna start layering our birria tofu. Fire, looks so good. And of course we have to put a little more. And then this is a garnish that may not be for everybody. A little chopped onion and cilantro. And then we're gonna top it. Perfectly crispy bread. Birria turned out perfect. The peppers, the spices, the toasting of the peppers, which is a step that I love, the braising of the tofu sitting overnight, all of that came together to create a delicious sandwich, a melt. We're gonna cut it right now. Look at that bad boy. It's so comforting and delicious. So I think what you need to do is make this. You can make the tofu, and then whatever sauce is left over, you could put in little containers and freeze them. And when you're inspired to make another Mexican influenced dish, you could pop that out of the freezer and use the birria sauce. As always, I'll see you next week. Bye.